Hello, we'll continue with multiplying and dividing with negative numbers. This video will cover F3 and F4. Now we can multiply negative numbers. It's a short step to working out powers of negative numbers. Let's remember what 5 squared means. That's 5 to the power 2, but we usually say 5 squared. That's 5 times 5. And the 2 here is telling us that the 5 in the multiplication is repeated twice. It's repeated 2 times. Let's look at 4 cubed. That's 4 times 4 times 4. And the 4 in the multiplication is repeated 3 times because the powers are 3. If we move on to negative numbers, nothing unexpected happens. So this expression says negative 5 squared. So that's simply negative 5 times negative 5. We saw in the last video that a negative number times a negative number gives a positive answer. So this answer is positive 25. Negative 4 cubed is just negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. Now remember from our order of operations, these multiplications have the same priority, so we have to go left to right. So let's do it in 2 parts. Let's do this multiplication first. So this is equal to negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16 times negative 4. 16 times negative 4 is negative 64. I want to draw your attention to these brackets here. Let's look more closely at why I had to write them. Here are 2 very similar looking expressions. I want you to take a moment and try and figure out between the left-hand side and the right-hand side, what's the same and what's the difference. Well, taking the left-hand side first, we've got a negative 5 inside some brackets, and that's squared. As we saw on the last slide, that just means negative 5 times negative 5, which is the same as positive 25. The difference on the right-hand side is that here, the negative sign is outside the brackets, so the thing that we have inside the brackets is 5 squared. Now remember from your order of operations that brackets always take precedence. So I have to do whatever's in the brackets first. So I have to calculate this 5 squared before I do anything else. So I have negative 5 times 5, which is the negative of, if I do this multiplication, 25, which is minus, or rather negative 25. You can see here that because we had to do the squaring and the negative in a different order, the answers on these 2 sides are different. So the lesson here is to remember that when you are squaring negative numbers, you've got to think really carefully about your order of operations and make sure whatever's in the brackets takes priority. Here are some examples. Pause the video, try them, and the answers will follow. First we have negative 7 in the brackets, and that's squared. So that's negative 7 times negative 7, which is positive 49. In the second example, let's just make some room. We have negative 2 in the brackets, and that's cubed. So that's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Working from left to right, I get negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Finally, this one's a little bit different. Here we have 3 squared in the brackets. So I have to do 3 squared first. So this is negative 3 times 3, which is negative 9. We just had to use our order of operations a couple of times, so let's review that and see how it works with negative numbers. Remember, there was a hierarchy, order of priority of operations that started with brackets and other groupings first, followed by exponents, things like squared and cubed, and also roots and cube roots. Next priority was multiplication and division, and very importantly, those had equal priority between themselves. And finally, there was addition and subtraction, which also have equal priority. If you're calculating with negative numbers and using your order of operations, nothing different happens. You just follow the same rules, just being really careful not to lose track of your signs. So let's do a couple of examples. On the left, we've got 12 plus negative 7 times negative 2. So we scan through the expression looking for the highest priority, and it's this multiplication. So this equals, so we'll do this first, negative 7 times negative 2 is positive 14. So we have 12 plus 14, which is 26. What's different on the right-hand side is these brackets. And brackets take the highest priority, so I have to do that first. So this is equal to 12 plus negative 7 is 5 times negative 2, which is negative 10. Here's another example. We scan through the expression looking for the highest priority operation, and here on the left is this multiplication is the highest priority. So 6 times negative 3 is negative 18, and we still have to add 5, and that's negative 13. On the right, the brackets have the highest priority, so I have to do this calculation first. So this is equal to 6 times negative 3 plus 5, which is 2, which is 12. We'll end the video with an example for you to try. Pause the video now, try this, and the answer will follow.